morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on which time zone you're joining us from, and a warm welcome to each one of you. Thank you so much for taking your time to join this session. Before I proceed, I would like to introduce our speaker for today, who is Mr. Naveen Nanjundappa. Naveen works with organization and teams who struggle to accomplish everything they want to in product and people development. The clients he work with generally understand the value of Agile and are ready to learn how to build self-organization teams and transform to effective ways of product development. Find it in challenging to do it themselves without hampering their releases. So this is yes. So do you have anything to tell about yourself, Naveen? Hello.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah, good. Awesome. So you want the presentation to get started now?
Yes, Naveen. You can start off.
Okay. Awesome. So what we'll do is I'll just pick up some of the challenges that a Scrum Master would face, and then probably go ahead and explain them. Typically, how would you manage that? And then at the end of the session, we could take up some quick questions. So this is about the typical Scrum Master challenges. So I'm hoping that everybody in this particular session is one or the other way perform the responsibilities of a Scrum Master, and you're here to know more about the challenges. There are high chances that I might uh, display the same challenges that you're facing on a day-to-day basis, or some new challenges that you might foresee. So let's look at the challenges. What do you mean by a challenge? Basically, a challenge is something that puts you under kind of a struggle, and you find it interesting to fix those problems and issues. Sometimes you're successful, sometimes you're not. And these things are not just one time, they just keep over and over again challenging you and troubling you and your teams. So let's look at what are those. The first one. The first, and I mean, there is no order to it. It does not mean that this is the first of the challenge, but one of those. So I'm going to talk about 10 challenges that you might potentially see. The first one is the resistance to change. Now, when we say that resistance to change, who is this resistance to change? Some of the people, some of the team members, the stakeholders that you might be working with, they may be resistant to adapting to the Scrum practices or Scrum framework. And this leads to the lack of cooperation and working as a team. So there are always resistance to the change. So you might have noticed that when there is a change coming up, it could be change with respect to process, change with respect to the requirement, change with respect to the way of working. Every time there is a change, a natural behavior is to restrict the change and then say, why do we need it? So you need to go ahead and educate people. So this is where, as a Scrum Master, you need to understand that psychologically, the natural behavior for a change is to resist a change. So when there is some change coming up, psychologically, the natural behavior is to resist. And there is something called as Ross grief curve. And this talks about how a person goes through the change management and the change process. Like the first one is to uh, be resistant and avoid the change, then to be anger and say like, why is this change required at all? We are better, we are good, without accepting that there is a need for a change. And then comes up with a depression mode where people get depressed, like, oh, this does not work, that does not work, why are we doing this? And then slowly through coaching, consulting, the person starts seeing a hope and then acceptance towards the change. This is a Ross grief curve. Now, similarly, how do we overcome the resistance to the change? You might have seen people with the uh, resistance, a lot of resistance to the change. The first one is to educate the team members and stakeholders about why should we use Scrum? What is this agility all about? Where is this agility required? A lot often the resistance to a change comes from the ignorance, the knowledge that they have, the gap that they have. So focus on that. The next one is show them the real world success stories or case studies of Scrum implementation. When people start looking at the success stories, when people start hearing about, okay, there are people who have succeeded with this, then there will be a less resistance to adapt to the Scrum frameworks and changes. and encouraging the culture of continuous improvement and adaptability within the system. So here I'm specifically talking about resistance to the change with respect to adapting new practices and framework. I'm not talking about resistance to the changing requirements within the system. Okay. Next, the lack of empowerment of the team. So the team might face challenges in making a decisions and feel disempowered or hindering their productivity. They feel like, we are not in a position to take a decision. So this kind of lack of empowerment is a place where team members are disappointed. Team members are feeling less empowered with their position, and that will make them take lesser accountability, lesser uh, activities. So here, in this situation, you can go ahead and coach the team on what is the self-organizing, self-managing, how can the team take a decisions and help themselves to focus on the goal. So this way, as you start coaching the team members for self-organizing, you'll, as a Scrum Master, you start focusing on the Tuckman's team development stages, which are forming, storming, norming, and performing stages. So you start looking at which stage the teams are, how do we enable them to move on to the next step, a lot of things associated with team development. And you encourage the collaboration and open communication within the team. Okay. So encouraging the team members to have a collaboration and open communication. This will typically help the team in focusing on how do we work together. See, the lack of empowerment, feeling that, okay, the manager does not allow me to take a decision versus we can take a decision within our sphere of influence. So in the work that we are doing, we can collaborate. In the task that we are working on or the product backlog item that we are working on, we can collaborate. That is a mindset that you'll have to build up. And once the team starts working good, there's a high probability that the management would also give them the freedom to take a decision. It is just that the management and the teams are playing safe with fear of failure. And empower the product owners and stakeholders to support the team's autonomous decision making so that it is all in line with the goal. So lack of uh, power, lack of empowerment of the team's position could be one of the challenges that people come to you crib like we can't take a decision. If we take a decision, it is not respected. So help them get through the performing stage so that people can respect. The next one, the meetings and the events that takes place are completely inefficient. This is one of the most common challenges that many people feel, that the Scrum events are unproductive and they are extremely lengthy. They take longer time than expected. The most common one is like daily Scrum does not finish in 15 minutes. It takes more time. In fact, I was surprised in one of the uh, student, he was mentioning their daily Scrum is 2 hours in a day. And it's like, that is not a daily Scrum anyways. So 2 hours, 60 people and a so-called manager slash their Scrum Master, that person whose title was manager and then the Scrum Master was organizing this for 2 hours in a day. And my only advice to that person was like, just skip the meeting. He will not even know that you did not come to that meeting. Yeah. Because these meetings are inefficient. So the Scrum expects you to be inspecting, adapting, to be more effective, to be more productive during these discussion times. But then an ineffective facilitator, the ineffective Scrum Masters can also make it the meetings to be more ineffective. So how can you improve on this? The solutions could be like learn the facilitation skills. As a Scrum Master, it is important that you learn the facilitation skills. So go ahead with the facilitation skills. Keep the meetings or events time boxed. Focus on what is objective. Visualize things. So basically, write down, visualize things. Usually, my focus is to avoid computers during the discussion times. Even for a sprint planning, we avoid computers so that people can focus on what is the sprint goal, how do we achieve it, rather than just creating a task and estimating it. Encourage the active participation from all the people by using various different facilitation skills like listening, active, listing type, small group discussions. There are various different facilitation skills. So as a Scrum Master, you can try that and focus on improving the meeting. How? At the end of every discussion and every meeting, you can take about 2 minutes to ask the team Is there anything that we could have done better so that this meeting is more effective? So build upon the feedbacks. Every discussion that you do, build upon a feedback, and that's a very good feeling. So that you know that we could have come much more prepared with that particular problem space. So inefficient meetings, I would give it to you with the thought process of it is the Scrum Master who does not have the facilitative skills, and team members are not effectively focused on the goal, and such people will have this kind of ineffective discussions. Next, lack of focus. Obviously, the team members may struggle to maintain a focus during the sprint. Why? Because there is a lot of interruptions, a lot of hurdles, and impediments coming up. So this is the point where, as a Scrum Master, you can shield the team from the external distractions during the sprint. How? You can literally tell them that once the sprint starts, any discussions has to go through the product owner, because the product owner is the one who's going to look at the product backlog, and the team is working on a specific goal. In that case, is the stakeholders or anybody can talk to the product owner for their needs and wants, and the product backlog is the one that is going to be managed. So, how do you improve the focus of the team? Make sure that the team members have crystal clear clarity on the goal. Understand the importance of this meeting. In fact, today I just finished the sprint planning meeting here with one of the teams. And then we had just a few sheets of paper and then discussion about the goal, what are the objectives, and everybody walked out of the discussion room with being more effective on the sprint planning. They had a crystal clear sprint goal. They also identified the product backlog items that they could effectively focus on. And in fact, at the end of this a sprint planning meeting, we asked the team, are you clear about what is the focus and commitment that you think about? What is that you are committed towards? It is not a commitment of like finish 2 items in a sprint. It is about the commitment that we are going to be focused on the goal. Okay. And during the sprint, it is also important to encourage the product owner to look into the sprint goal, and any changes you need to do it on a product backlog, not during the sprint, change the sprint goal itself needs to be changed. No, you have to avoid that. So help them focus on what is required and when it is required. And all these things, if you notice all the things that we have discussed or highlighted so far, these things are something that are all people related. So most often people related problems are the one that Scrum Master deals with. The team burnout. Huh. The continuous pressure to meet the sprint goal can result in the team's burnout, meaning the team members are constantly bombarded with you did not meet the sprint goal, there is a spillover, blah blah. The point is like sprint goal is a objective that the team members focus towards working. And unfortunately, many people make the sprint goal as finish the work items assigned to you. The moment we look at it as finish the work items assigned to you, then the teams are going to be much more ineffective, because their only focus is to finish the work and not about inspecting, adapting during the sprint, focusing on the goal. They're just worried about, okay, there is a product backlog item that we have to finish, work, finish, finish, finish. So what happens? People are overburdened. People work on Saturday, Sunday. People work on late nights. So the team is burned out. By the way, if you notice, principle number 8 in Agile Manifesto talks about Agile processes promote sustainable development. The sponsors, users, and the developers should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely, which means the team members, sponsors, everybody should be using those process tools, everything in such a way that their efficiency is high and sustained. So here, you can go ahead. How do we solve this? Look at, is the team members overloaded? Can we ask the team members to highlight if they are feeling like they are stressed out? Is there any signs of stress out and burnout? Look for it proactively. Talk to the individual person. Is it because of some external parameter? Is it because of their internal thoughts, lack of skills, or personal family issues, or something? It could be sometimes where the team members burn out for personal reasons. So look at all of that. In fact, encourage a healthy work-life balance and all those things. In fact, when I start coaching, I tell all the team members, guys, as a Scrum Master, my goal is to ensure that all of you work from 9 o'clock to, let's say, 6 o'clock. And after 6 o'clock, you have your personal life. My goal as a Scrum Master is to ensure that nobody works beyond 6 o'clock. I mean, official time, let's say 6 is the official end time. So nobody works beyond 6 o'clock and nobody works on Saturdays and Sundays. Getting to that state and still be able to deliver all the results. That's what is the goal. Build the team with the best results. And then the team is burning out maybe because they are only stressed about goal, and not looking up at the success stories or acknowledgements for their efforts. So you might want to go ahead and give some acknowledgements, recognitions, celebrations for the teams to be working towards each other's goal. Then uh, we have a inadequate stakeholders involvement. This is one of the very common ones that stakeholders think that the Scrum framework is for the team and then it is for the team to work on it. We have just told them. No, the lack of engagement from the stakeholders or users, what happens is it leads to the misalignment and the delivery features of lesser values. Why? Because there's no collaboration. And we are working in a complex zone. In a complex zone, it is important for us to understand that customer collaboration is more important. So you notice that Agile Manifesto also talks about customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Yeah. And principle number 4 says that the business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project, which means all the while we have been discussing about the stakeholders or customers involvement and collaboration as a key. So how can you get these stakeholders to get involved? First, educate them that it is important that we are in a complex zone. And in a complex zone, the stakeholders' thoughts, stakeholders' expectations are to be met and discussed with the team. So open communication channels, have the open door, like stakeholders can go ahead, talk about what they need. They can look at the progress by the team. They have access to the dashboards of the team. And it is not about just looking at the dashboards. They just understand what is happening in the system. They're also contributing. In fact, it is good to invite the stakeholders users to the sprint review, give them the feedback, invite them to give the feedback, what is to be done. You can involve them a lot. Uh, Typically, we look at a sprint review as a point of what do you call a pride for the team. So it is like a ceremony, a pride ceremony, it may be an award session. So you invite everybody to showcase that what is that you have done in the product development. So that's nice stuff. Encourage them to come over. And then ask the feedback from the stakeholders, enable them to give a feedback, and then look at stakeholders is not an external side, make them also the uh, like accountable for the success of the product and the team's work. So working with the stakeholders to say that, okay, it is your product, it is your ecosystem makes sense. It is like saying a parent, the the path of your kid's education, you also hold an accountability, and your involvement into what is happening in the education of a kid matters most when the kid is studying in the school and college. So involve them. Next, dealing with difficult personalities or people. This is one of the common things because everybody in the team is not the same. So we have a lot of conflicts, challenging personalities within the team as well. In fact, today also we were discussing, Naveen, how do we deal with a person who is like showcasing that I'm busy, but internally they are not. Example, a 2 hour task, the person spends 10 hours and still it is incomplete. And everybody knows that it is just about 2 hours of a task. I mean, this is where you have to look at how do we build the team as a inter, the team's collaboration and the teams challenging themselves, build a peer pressure within the system so that the team members look at the other team members and then challenge themselves on how are we going to build the system. Okay. So address the interpersonal issues proactively. Talk to them as a Scrum Master. Talk to the people. Highlight that, okay, this is the observations that we have made. Why is it finding it difficult? Why others find it difficult to work with you? What are the observations that the teams have done? Facilitate an open conversation. Talk to them. In fact, I always have a conversation with my team members so that I understand what is the emotions that they are going through. Sometimes what I've noticed is the people with difficult personalities are just very temporary because they're just reacting to something else that happened in their life. Okay, so just look at if you can address that concerns as well. And you can also use techniques like active listening and showing empathy to these people because they might be just needing somebody to listen to them. let's say in the worst cases that there are really people who don't care about and who are not committed and focused towards working. They're simply there to create conflicts and problems. So you can just go ahead and involve your HR or management to uh, address these people before it gets into the wrong directions. In fact, as a Scrum Master and a coach, I always tell the team members, guys, if the company does not get 10 times the more what they pay you as a salary, they will not look twice to even remove you. Okay. So the company does not get 10x returns on the salary. Let's say you're earning 1 lakh, and if they don't get 10 lakhs, they will not think twice to employ you. At the same time, there is no company which does a charity on an employee. There is no employee who does a charity on a company. It is a sustenance. It's a business. So if a person is having a difficult personalities and unable to cater, I mean, you have to involve the HR management to see what is the best that can be done, at least to protect the rest of the ecosystem. In most of the cases, these difficult personalities are just reacting to some situations. Let's consider them positive and then try to handle them one on one or as a external support. Then we have a done criteria not defined. I mean, this is another problem that everybody defines their own done. Everybody thinks that we are done with our work, and nobody has a common definition of done. So it is very important that many teams don't even know that the acceptance criteria and definition of done, these are two different aspects. Acceptance criteria is a solution to the problem that you're working and the functionality that you're working. But definition of done is a process and quality related aspect, but they mix together. So you need to educate the people as to the definition of done is about process and quality related, and the not having a definition of done or having a poorly defined definition of done can lead to a low quality or low value items in the sprint. So collaborate with the teams to create a comprehensive definition of done. Enable the teams to look at what all the parameters that you should consider to build a good definition of done and mutually agree upon it. It is important that every sprint review, you look at your definition of done, the process you're following, the quality standards you have, and then reevaluate. Do we cover all the items that needs to be done as part of the done criteria? So you can go ahead and reevaluate at regular intervals in the retrospective typically to go ahead and um, reevaluate and update the definition of done. In fact, what we have seen is over a period of time, definition of done gets added and become more stringent so that the quality improves over a period of time. So you can use this definition of done as a checklist or kind of, when I say checklist, it is not like just put a tick mark and then move on. It is a list where people can start looking at it and then effectively focus on what is done and how we can focus on the completion of the work. So that's a check. And then lack of continuous improvement. People are busy with working and they don't even focus on continuous improvement. The team may settle into a routine, miss out the opportunities for improvement. They're just looking at like, yeah, we will do it later, and conduct regular. I mean, they just miss out for improving because they're busy. One of the common things is like, we don't have time, we are busy. We'll do it after the sprint is completed. Absolutely not. You have to educate them. So you need to be bringing in the effectiveness in organizing the sprint retrospective where people are involved, people are speaking up, they're identifying the problem spaces, speaking about the problems, and basically focus towards uh, identifying an improvement. And it is a counterintuitive. Like people have a lack of focus on continuous improvement, and I'm telling you that you need to bring in that retrospective to help them people to continuously improve. In fact, here you need to notice that people may not be interested in improving. This is where you need to show them the uh, situations where what happens when we continuously improve. What are the benefits of this? How other companies or other teams or other people have continuously improved over a period of time, and how does it kill the team or a person where they don't improve over a period of time? It is important. Encourage them to have a experimental thinking and the risk of finding a better ways of working. So go ahead and help them understand that it is absolutely okay to fail. It is absolutely okay to experiment and not get the results that you expected. In fact, support the team in implementing some of the changes. and track that over a period of time so that people are always looking at a continuous improvement. So you are also coaching them so that they can focus on the improvement when the team members lack a focus on continuous improvement. And it is also important that it is not just we do our discussions for continuous improvement. We take effective actions for each one of this and implement it as well. And then the third, 10th one that I wanted to talk about, which is a Scrum Master challenge, is you itself. I have no idea. Are you one of the challenging person where you yourself are unsure as to what am I supposed to do as a Scrum Master? And if so, that's a bigger challenging position because a lot of time a Scrum Master, they don't understand what is their responsibilities. Scrum Masters thinks that, okay, I need to book the meeting room, 10 minutes of meeting, ensure that everybody's present in the meeting, get the stationaries, organize this meeting, send the reports, tools to be updated, blah, blah, blah. In fact, these are all the personal assistant job, and the Scrum Masters are confused as to, am I doing this as a value to the team, company, and myself? And many people hesitate to do this Scrum Master job because they think that this is just like a personal assistant and not so interesting. And unfortunately, the organizations are also unable to understand that the Scrum Master is a full-time job. And it is a thought-provoking stuff as a people-oriented. So think over managing yourself, your own expectations, your own activities. Is that also a reason? And is that a challenge that you face? If you have any of these, and there could be hundreds of other challenges because Scrum Master is just surrounded by the challenges, I've just picked up the 10 here. Uh, I'll be happy to take up the questions or any points. So this uh, session was to just highlight there are a lot of interesting challenges that you might face, but at the end of the day, use some tools and techniques and strategies to enable yourself and your teams to overcome those challenges. A good way to do it is, at least the way I follow, is make a list of challenges that you have, make a list of potential solutions that you want to experiment, and then go ahead, put a tick mark. I tried this, it works, it doesn't work, the challenge is still existing, the challenge has we have overcome the challenge. And then start experimenting, discuss with other Scrum Masters or other people, and then see, are you progressing towards fixing those challenges and problems. So that way it is much easier for you to manage yourself. Okay, I'm going to pause now. If there are any questions, I'm okay to take up these questions.
So do we have any questions for Naveen? Please feel free to chat, text in the chat box or question answer tab. Else you can raise your hand if you want to talk to Naveen. I'll allow you to talk. Yes, yes, Priyanka.
Hello.
Hi, Priyanka. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Naveen. Good evening. Basically, my question is, although I have not been given a Scrum Master role, but I've been, expected to play role as a Scrum Master. And things are when you're not designated as a Scrum Master, it's not easy to, take responsibilities and order people or maybe, allocate tasks accordingly as per the project. So how to deal with that?
Okay. With your question, it seems like the management is expecting you to work with the teams, allocating and managing the teams with their work as a Scrum Master.
Correct.
Okay. I would like to step back once and correct understanding here. The first thing that we learn as a Scrum Master is the Scrum Master is not a person who's going to allocate the work or try to assign works to the team. The Scrum Master is a person who will enable the team to focus on what is the goal and pick up all those things that they can effectively work towards. Okay. So it is like this. As a Scrum Master, you are more focused on why my team is not effectively working, why my team is not effectively planning, or why are they not working effectively, rather than assigning the work and helping, uh, giving them the activities. So the context of a Scrum Master is not like replace the word project manager with Scrum Master and then we are agile. No. Scrum Master is a master of Scrum. Your objective is to implement Scrum, enable the people to use Scrum, and be effective using Scrum. So, Scrum Master is a master of Scrum. Now, unfortunately, when the management and the teams don't understand what is the responsibility of Scrum Master, they'll start expecting Scrum Master to assign work, Scrum Master to resolve the problem, Scrum Master to work with the team. In fact, today also I was telling the team members, like, as a Scrum Master, I don't have to be in your daily Scrum. It's not required. It is the team's discussion. So enabling the team to understand that, okay, this is our discussion. We have to focus on the goal. And then as a Scrum Master, they are available to help me in understanding how to effectively do this daily Scrum. That is what you have to bring up. The simple example that I always give for a Scrum Master is you are like a mother of a child. You do everything that is required for the kid to grow up, get matured, and after some time, the kid does not say that I don't need you. You still go ahead and do different activities when the things are moving up. Okay. So what should you do? Probably you have to reevaluate what is your activities at office. Are they really the Scrum Master's activities? The best way to do it is look at the Scrum guide, evaluate that with respect to the Scrum Master's responsibilities. And if there is a conflict or mismatches, you can contact us offline, or you can also look at the Scrum Guide and talk to your management like, look, you are telling us to do this. This is what Scrum Guide is talking about. Where is the gaps? So that way it is better.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering my question. Another point is like generally project managers are being guided as to take our Scrum classes. So why so if like we have as a Scrum Master, what I believe is we become a little bit of a facilitator. Like well, the team is doing well, or if in case the team is facing any problem, we should be the one to resolve, or we can try to resolve the issue.
Yeah. So when you look at the Scrum, there are two ways of looking at a problem. The first one is, why is this team having a problem? The second part is, the team has a problem. Do I need to solve it, or can the team solve themselves? Now, why is this team having a problem is where you can go ahead, evaluate, and then see what can be done to reduce that external dependency or problems. That's the first part that you can do as a Scrum Master. Okay, the team is in a position where there are a lot of disturbances. I can get them. I can isolate them. I can make them focus on their goal. The second part is the team in the position to solve their own problems, or they're dependent on somebody else? At that point, you need to look at the team's skill set. Does the team have a sufficient skill set required to work? Do they have the sufficient support to work on? And you're not a person who is actually trying to what you call decide on who works on what. You're not the one who's going to design the solutions and tell them that, okay, implement this. Okay, you are the one. It is like a people aspect. You are the one who's making the team become more effective. So on a lighter note, I can say this: a Scrum Master is like a coach of a cricket team, coach of a football team. So what does a coach do? A coach is observing the team while they're playing, but they're preparing themselves as to where is the weakness of a team? How do the team overcome it? How can we plan so that the teams are more effective? And coach does not say that you do this, you don't do this. The coach will just reflect back and say, like, do you know when this kind of a situation came up, you were nervous? Do you know when this kind of situation came up, you could have hit the ball on the right side or cover drive, you put it on a different side? I think you're getting you're not able to practice and look at it in the right way. So you're observing and giving a feedback so that they can improve themselves. And the team also should be in the mindset where this person whom we call a coach is not a person who's an expert who's there for to correct me. It is about the coach is like a mirror who's showcasing how I could have improved myself. So there's a thought process that a coachee also has to think about, that It is about an opportunity to reflect back and learn rather than like, I mean, who are you? Do you know about programming? Why can you tell me? No. Okay.
Thank you. This example definitely correlated what I was asking, and it
Yeah.
has cleared my doubt. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. And Nagbhushan is asking in one of the chat, like, how to handle the technology dependency issue. Okay. Whenever you have a technology dependency issue, right, you are a Scrum Master. So do we expect that the Scrum Master should have the technological knowledge? Answer is no. You are not a person to resolve the technical dependencies or technological dependencies, the domain dependencies. You are a person to work with the team who can deal with those technology dependencies. How? One of the things is you can mentor them, coach them on how do we highlight the issues that are related to dependencies. When should we highlight them? For example, any technical dependencies and technological domain dependencies. What do? You highlight them in the backlog refinement. You try to call in some subject matter experts to resolve that issues. You focus on the what you call dependencies and identify those dependencies as a team. Now, are you the one who's supposed to solve it? No. Unfortunately, the organizations where they expect like, oh, Scrum Master, you should be 10 years experience in Java, you should be experienced in cloud computing. We are working in a cloud computing project, so you should know about cloud computing. See, Scrum Masters technically are not supposed, I mean, technically in the sense the English word, you're not the person who is a technical expert helping the team. I would consider this way: if you are a technical expert, then I would always put you as a team member who can help the team or who can develop the product. Why do I put you as a Scrum Master? Example: if you are an excellent batsman and you are still in the game, I would put you as a batsman in the team. I'll not put you outside the team and say you're a coach. You're an excellent person, you're working, I'll put you inside the team, or at least as a subject matter expert for the team. So think about it. How do you handle this? Maybe connecting people, identifying people that they have to talk about these dependencies at the right time. And in the worst case, if there is an inter-team dependency, you can use inter-team discussions, forums. Like one of the example is Scrum of Scrum, where inter-team dependencies can be discussed. Yeah.
Yeah, Naveen. So Jasmine has raised her hand. Yes,
Okay.
Jasmine, do you have any questions? Naveen?
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So actually, I have also, I have the same question related to this technology dependent issue only. So just wanted to explain one scenario like in our team. I have total 6 years of experience, but in Scrum, I have around 1 to 2 years of experience. And in our project we have two scrum masters being, I was kind of junior scrum master and I have a senior scrum master with me who is working. So it's basically like she was aware of kind of DB and Java and all those skill sets. She has some prior knowledge, but I don't have all those kind of in prior knowledge. So whenever we are working together, kind of she used to solve all technical issues and all. She goes deep into all the issues that the team member used to explain, but sometimes I feel lost, like I don't know all these technical issues and I'm not able to resolve these technical issues. So in this scenario, how should I approach being a junior scrum master?
Okay. This again comes back to the definition of what you understand as a Scrum Master. Okay.
Hmm.
So, what are the responsibilities of a Scrum Master and what do you understand as a Scrum Master? So, what I can tell you is, let me just share a screen for you. Okay. This is from one of my recent classes. So, here, if you notice, when I'm talking about the Scrum Master, this is what a Scrum Master responsibilities are. As a Scrum Master, you're a master of Scrum. And the best way to understand the role of a Scrum Master is like a mother. Okay. When the mother is having a kid between 0 to 2 years, mother does a lot of activities to a kid. And as the team gets to the higher maturity, Mother does not repeat the same activities. When the kid is between 10 to 20 years, she is more of a support and a different kind of responsibility, which means as a Scrum Master, you should have a facilitation skills, coaching skills, leadership skills, change agent, and you have to be overall looking for a bigger context. Okay. And what happens with this is the team members are going to look at you as a person who is facilitating coaching and being a leader for them. And as the team gets matured, like a Tuckman's team development says, forming, storming, norming, performing, you will notice that as a team gets matured, the Scrum Master's activities are also changing. But unfortunately, it is those organizations or those managers who don't understand. I mean, it is unfortunate that what do they expect? They expect that you're the one who's going to solve the problem. You're going to be the one who's going to work towards, I mean, whatever is the traditional project management activities in the name of Scrum Master, you do it. So that's not the expectation. It is like saying you have a goalkeeper with the gloves. Uh, we are playing cricket, so do the same activities that you did in football. I mean, that's a different game. It's a different game here. You cannot just say that just because you or a gloves, you can do the same thing. So what should a Scrum Master do there? So this can also answer the next question, which is like, what are the differences there? So you can think about it here. When you look at the Scrum Master, if I position the Scrum Master in the center, the Scrum Master is surrounded by like organization, the product owner, and the Scrum team. I'm just using the class notes because this is what is the foundation of a Scrum Master. You will learn all of this. So here, if you see this as Scrum Master, as a Scrum Master, you're supposed to serve the organization in coaching, leading, training, and all these things. Now ask yourself, does your organization allow you to coach, train during the sprint or during the implementation of Scrum? No. Ask yourself, why am I not getting involved in the organization level towards the coaching, leading, training, and all the other things? That is because as a Scrum Master, you should be like this. And I hope the color helps you. I hope the color code helps you understand that a Scrum Master is a person who should have the coaching skills, facilitation skills, and the leadership skills. Now, ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how well are you in facilitation skills? I mean, a small group facilitation, a large group facilitation, a conflict facilitation, a technical discussion facilitation. How well do you facilitate any kind of situation on a scale of 1 to 10? I mean, if you score anything less than 8, boy, it's an indication that you are not good at facilitation. So the point is you have to learn how to facilitate things. Now, similarly, a coaching skills, a leadership skills. Now, just imagine if the organization has to be giving you an opportunity or you are supposed to take up an opportunity for coaching, leading, training, or implementation of Scrum. Shouldn't you have a coaching experience, leadership experience, and also look at how the organization works, how the organization performs? Without that experience, why will somebody come over and tell you? A simple example, let's assume that you have a garden and there are some plants in your garden and you are trying to trim. Do you think you will just give a scissor and a trimmer to anybody and then say, go cut the plants in the garden? I mean, you will say like, hold on, do you know where to cut the plant, when to cut the plant, to what extent? If the person says, no, I don't know, this is the first time I'm cutting the plant, then you will never say that, okay, go ahead and trim my garden. You will say like, hold on, I don't need your support because you will do more damage than support. Exactly that way. A so-called Scrum Master who does not have a coaching skills, leadership skills, what are they doing? They're just spoiling more rather than encouraging. Now you think over the team that has a Scrum Master without a coaching skills, facilitation skills, leadership skills, what value will the teams do? They are just going to look at you as a personal assistant and they are going to say that, okay, we are at least contributing to the coding testing. What are you doing? You're doing nothing by just organizing the meeting and sending the minutes of meeting or some personal assistant job. This is where a Scrum Master has to understand that I need to develop these skills. And I can see that I think Nagraj is asking about how do we grow as a career in the Scrum Master? Answer is like your career path is nothing but your skills as you grow as a Scrum Master, your skills in facilitation, your skills in coaching, your skills in what you call leadership activities. How are you going to nurture yourself in these things? That is when your career growth is happening. So it is not about titles of Scrum Master, Junior Scrum Master, Senior Scrum Master, Super Senior Scrum Master. No, it is like as a Scrum Master with a lot of these qualities, I go handling from a team to a larger teams or to the organizations at a larger group of organizations. That is how you grow. Okay. So this is about the Scrum Master. How should you focus on and how should you help people? So what am I trying to tell you here? A simple. As a Scrum Master, focus on developing your skill set, and that in turn develops your career path. Also brings up that capability to handle a situation as a facilitator, coach, and a leader.
Yeah, I guess that
Okay.
is a very helpful suggestion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And many people go ahead with this. How many teams can a Scrum Master handle? I always say, replace the word Scrum Master with mother, you get the answer. How many kids can mother handle? I mean, if the kid is between 0 to 2 years, you need a dedicated mother.
Yeah.
The kid is like, if a mother has twins, she will forget sleep. If a woman delivers 3 babies, I mean, she will forget the word sleep, spelling as well, which means when the kid is between 0 to 2 years, you need a dedicated person. That's exactly how, when the team is in the early stages of forming, storming, you need a dedicated Scrum Master to enable them to be in a effective mode. But as the kid gets into the mature, like 10 to 20 years, how many people can you handle with the age group of 10 to 20? 3, 4, 5? Yeah. Because you're not doing everything that you did for the kid in the 0 to 2 years. You are doing more matured activities. So when the team is in the matured state, you can go ahead and handle 2, 3, 4 teams. It's okay. Now, what is the difference between the project manager and the Scrum Master? Answer is very simple. Project manager is a manager for a project, and that comes from the traditional project management mindset, wherein we have a manager to manage the project. What is a Scrum Master? Scrum Master is a master of Scrum. So, master of Scrum. What do you mean by master of Scrum? I am the person who is getting this mastery over Scrum implementation across the organization. So you can think about it this way. Karate master, they're master in karate. Judo master, master in judo. Scrum master, yeah, you got it right. But unfortunately, people don't understand that. The moment I say Scrum Master, they'll think about Java, .NET, cloud computing, artificial intelligence. You should have 5 years experience in this. No. So Scrum Master is a master of Scrum. So when some organization is hiring a Scrum Master, I would strongly recommend, I mean, I would at least look at what is the mastery of Scrum that you have come up with. So you want to go up in your career ladder. What is the trajectory? As a Scrum Master, you should understand that now I have to develop my mastery over Scrum. So learn about Scrum, practice Scrum, think about where it can be applied. On a lighter note, I got married using Scrum. My whole wedding was planned using Scrum. You got a point? I just planned the whole wedding as a Scrum. We had a product backlog, to-do list of items. We had a sprints of 1 week. My family members, my team members were the team members. We did a 1 week sprint, Saturday to Saturday, and we planned for what are we supposed to focus on for this week, prepare for it, go ahead, work towards it as a team, and then do a lessons learned, like where are the changes that we have to go on, and then finally lead it into a release date, which is a wedding. See, it all depends on how do you look at the Scrum, and you as a Scrum Master should is a person where, irrespective of the domain, if I leave you, you should be able to apply Scrum there. And that is where your mastery comes over. So what is your career path? You should be in a career path where you don't even look at the titles as your career. Look at the maturity and then the challenges that you can solve, that only you can solve than the general other people. That is your career growth. Are you going to be invited to solve a problem at the organization level, which has 500 people? Good. Are you getting to invite people who are like 1,000 people and you are getting to consult and solve that problem? Good. Then your career is growing. It is not about the title Scrum Master, Senior Scrum Master. I mean, I was introduced to Scrum way back in 2004. Even today, when I go to the organization, I call myself, I'm a Scrum Master. Why? It's a mastery over Scrum. So get out of the context of titles. In fact, get into the context of how deeper we can apply Scrum or what is the maximum that we can try. Okay. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Do you have any questions left?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, then I can give you an assignment
There
to.
are questions in the question answer section, if you could go through.
I think I've already answered those questions.
Yes, it is answered, Naveen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I can go ahead and give you a one last step, which is as a Scrum Master from today, you can go ahead and do this exercise. One, go ahead, put a 4 columns or 4 focus areas. The first one is a Scrum. The second one is facilitation skills. The third one is the coaching skills. And the fourth one is the leadership skills. Think about these 4 parameters or 4 aspects, and then talk to yourself and then ask, on these 4 parameters as of today, where do I stand? If somebody is evaluating me on coaching, where do I stand? Somebody is evaluating me on these other facilitation, coaching, leadership aspect, and then Scrum related, where do I stand? Let's say on a scale of 1 to 10. So you are at, let's say, you be honest and say like, I'm nowhere close to, I mean, it is 1 or 2. Then you go ahead, put a next column. I'm going to give a solid 2 months time from today. How do I acquire the facilitation skills? Which book should I refer to? Which book should I read? What should I practice? Can I learn something from the book and then apply that into the office related ecosystem? Nobody needs to give you a title Scrum Master to implement. You are a facilitation. So tell your team members, okay, guys, let me facilitate this meeting for today. Go ahead, try the facilitation skills. Think how you're improving. What is that you're learning? 2 months practice, and then come back and reevaluate. If somebody evaluates my style now, do I still get 1 or 2 or is it improving? Maybe this time 4. Continue this. Maybe in 1 year's time, you might get into a place where you can score like 8 out of 10. And that is where your own confidence will improve and your career path is going to go on. But now you can say, look, I'm confident about facilitating any discussion because I've learned over a period how to facilitate tougher situations, team discussions, teams activities, couple of Scrum events. So you will have more confidence in what you're doing. Repeat these things for the other 4 that I said. Then over a period of like 2 years, you should be in a good Scrum Master position. Even though the title does not say, nobody stops you from implementing Scrum. And that is how I started.
Yes, great, Naveen. It was a very insightful session indeed. So, I'm also putting the link of our web page here. So there are more sessions coming up with Naveen. So please go through the website and please get registered.
It has been really a very nice session. Thank you so much, Naveen.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Priyanka.
Thank you so much for everyone. Have a great evening.
Okay, thank you. Bye. I hope it was
Thank you,
worthwhile
Naveen.
for all of you, and happy Scrum Mastery for all of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.